That's gotta be the best looking turkey that I've ever seen. Now for the last like 7 years, I've come on here every November and shown you a different way to cook a turkey. I feel like I need a change. But what's the most fun change that I could think of? Turkey tenders. And it starts with some tenderloins of turkey, which actually can be hard to find. It's an issue I face every time I produce turkey content throughout the year. But there are companies online to order it from if you just search on Google. Now, first thing we have to do is take these turkey tenders, which I don't know if you know anything about turkeys. They're a lot bigger than chicken. So a tenderloin of turkey is about the size of a chicken breast. Just pat them nice and dry. You definitely don't want turkey tenders this large. So what we're going to do, there's all sorts of like little silver skin around the tenderloin. We just want to remove any of that. It's going to be a little bit of an unpleasant bite. So now we want to take this. There's almost a seam that runs down the center of the tenderloin. That seam's going to tell you exactly where to slice this in half. Now, if you can see right where I sliced that, you see a real large piece of that silver skin. If you don't remove that, it's an inedible piece that you're going to try and chew through. So I'm going to wiggle my knife under it one way to create a loose edge that I can grab onto. And then with the knife edge slightly pointed up, I'm just going to work my knife across the turkey until that silver skin is cleanly removed. Then what we got left is these long pieces of turkey that are too long to fry on their own. So we're just going to cut those in half. And there we have a nice turkey tender. It's not going to be too big to fry. These are going to be nice and perfect. And then just go through, clean up the rest. Then get them on a sheet tray, and we want to season them liberally on all sides with salt, and then allow them to brine in the fridge. These are gonna hang out and dry brine for maybe an hour or two. You would do the same thing with like a buttermilk brine. We're just avoiding that step. I find I like the results of this just a little bit better. It still comes out nice and juicy. Now to go with our turkey tenders, gonna be making a Thanksgiving ranch. Now, in case you're wondering, this is all kind of inspired by last year's Friendsgiving episode. If you haven't watched it, I'll leave a link down below, but we make turkey tenders in it.
We have turkey tenders, like chicken tenders with turkey? Sick.
And to make a ranch, the base starts with 3 things: sour cream, buttermilk, and mayo. Now I used to do 1-to-1 sour cream and mayo and then loosen it out a little bit with the buttermilk. But I'm gonna do 2 parts sour cream and 1 part each of buttermilk and mayo. I think it comes out just a little bit better. Now let's just see where we're at there. I also add lemon. So while we're trying to figure out the consistency, I'm gonna go ahead and just straight up add that right now. That way if I need to thicken it up, sometimes I add the lemon later and then it loosens it out and then I have to readjust it. I think that's a nice consistency. Runny but thick. A little bit of salt, and that base is good. Now we can kind of add the flavors. So first up to that mixture, I'm gonna go in with some dehydrated onion. You know, just a little bit of a pinch. Once those get hydrated, really gonna add that sort of recreation of the seasoning packets that make ranch. I just think the dehydrated version of onion and garlic are really nice in something like this. So same with the garlic, not too much. Then for Thanksgiving, some poultry seasoning. Maybe a teaspoon of that, a little dried parsley, a little dried dill, about equal parts of all the green stuff. And then if you don't know, if you haven't seen my stuffing video, there's a packet of seasoning called George Washington's Golden Season and Broth. This is one of the core ingredients of my mom's stuffing. It is the taste of Thanksgiving to me, so I'm going to add it as well. Seasoning, MSG, all that stuff. A little bit in there first, and then we can adjust the seasoning. A little bit more. Just add a touch more acidity. Very good. The flavor's there. The dehydrated onion and garlic are still crunchy, and they're gonna need time to kind of hydrate and soften. So this is ready to go. We're gonna wrap this, get it in the fridge till we're ready to serve it. Next up, we can make our dredge. Last time I made tenders, I made like a Italian tender, breadcrumbs, that kind of stuff. We're going with the Southern fry today, which starts with all-purpose flour. You're gonna get a big container. You can get some of those disposable aluminum foil deep things if you're doing a lot of these, but get a whole bunch of flour in there. So, you know, a good 2, 3, 4 cups of that. Then some cornstarch. Then to that, we can add our seasoning. Starts with granulated garlic. I measure by dusting, right? So I like do a dusting of the top layer, and I'll call that 1 portion. I'll do the same with onion powder. Next up, I'll do the same with paprika. Then I'm gonna do the same with some poultry seasoning, the same with some ground sage, a little bit of the dried parsley, and then a little bit of celery salt. And then of course, again, the George Washington's Golden Season and Broth. I'm gonna go 2 packages of it this time. Fuck it, I'm gonna add another one. And then salt, black pepper. And then mix it up. You should be able to smell flavor in your flour. Flour is like the ultimate bland thing, so you need to add enough of it to something like this for you to actually taste it once it's fried. That's good to go. Next up, in a bowl, we're gonna crack in 4 eggs. Touch of milk. That buttermilk works as well. Give it a whisk. Once that's really well beaten, then I'm gonna pull in a couple tablespoons of that dry dredge into the egg. Create a little bit of a wet batter. 4 or 5 tablespoons should do the trick. We just want to make that scrambled egg slightly thicker. So we've got our tenders, and you notice how they're kind of like shiny and dried out. That means they've released their moisture, reabsorbed it with all that salty moisture now, so they're seasoned and they're nicely dried. So now what we want to do, turkey goes into the dredge. We just want to get those tenders lightly covered in that flour. Get off any excess, then into the egg batter. Massage that egg in. Let some of that excess egg drip off back into the dredge. And you really want to make sure they get well coated. Especially with that batter, you want to sort of squeeze that flour in. There you have a nice turkey tender. Then just make your way breading the rest of those tenders. Once you've got them all breaded, I like to just throw them back into that big dredge container. Now I'm gonna let these hang out in the flour, let that egg sort of seize up so everything sort of just solidifies, get a nice crust on there, clean up, and then we can move on to the next step. So for this recipe, we're gonna be using the 3-quart Saucier, my favorite pan of all time, by our longtime sponsor, Maiden. That's officially the holiday season, and we're all looking for great gift ideas. And you wanna know what I give? I give the gift of high quality stainless steel, specifically the 3-quart Saucier. Maiden designs professional quality products for the home cook, and they partner with multi-generational factories and artisans to offer a comprehensive collection of pots, pans, serveware, and everything else you might need to cook and serve food in a home kitchen. Maiden stainless clad pans are crafted in Italy and made of a premium 5-ply stainless steel material, which allows for crazy good heat retention, even heating, and ease of heat control. And for me, the handles are the most important part when choosing a pan. You can't have handles that are too round, and you can't have them that are too sharp like some high-end brands are. Maiden is just right. They call that ergonomic. And really, the curvature of the walls are the selling point to me. You've seen me use this pan countless times to make pasta, but because of those deep curved walls, it actually is an excellent pan for deep frying in, which was what we're gonna be doing today. The perfect gift does exist, my friends. Whether it's for someone else or a little treat for yourself, grab the link down in my description to get some of your gifts checked off that list. Now, while our oil comes up to temp, we can make a little buffalo sauce for our tenders. Is it the flavors of Thanksgiving? No, but it is the color. So we're gonna pour in a half bottle of Frank's Red Hot and cut up about 4 tablespoons of butter into little knobs. Once the hot sauce comes up to a boil, I'm gonna kill the heat, and just like a beurre blanc, I'm gonna stir in 1 knob at a time, whisking it until the butter is completely melted before adding more butter. And we're just gonna repeat that until all the butter is added, and you have this beautiful, thick, viscous orange buffalo sauce. Get that into a bowl and let that cool. Now our oil is up to about a 365, which is the perfect temperature if I want these tenders to cook around 355. So I'm gonna add in a few tenders at a time, then I'm gonna check the oil to make sure the temp didn't drop too much. Looks good. Then we're just gonna fry these, moving them gently for about 3 to 4 minutes until the outside is a nice golden brown like this. Then we can let them rest on a wire rack, hit them with a little bit of salt, and then fry off the rest of the tenders. Once all the tenders are fried, we're gonna take a handful of some fresh sage leaves, and we're just gonna toss those into the oil and flash fry them just until the color deepens into a darker green. You can almost see the leaves transforming, and once you see that, you wanna pull them out. It's a fine line between perfectly crisp and burnt. And if I do say so myself, this is about as good as turkey's gonna look.
That's gotta be the best looking turkey that I've ever seen.
Now all we have to do is plate. I'm gonna go with a nice little sizzle platter. Just pick these up, I really like them. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start piling these tenders on that platter, build a nice tall mound of that turkey. Then I'm gonna take my beautiful buffalo sauce and just drizzle it all around, get it dripping on down through all those tenders, and then take that Thanksgiving ranch and just sort of streak it on top of that orange sauce, make it pop, and you finish it with those beautiful green sage leaves. And on this delicious looking platter, you've got every color of Thanksgiving and fall. The perfect snack either mid-November, before Thanksgiving, during Thanksgiving, or after. Get out of town. Imagine how Buffalo Thanksgiving ranch turkey tender appetizer going on before the dinner, I think it's a nice touch. And if you want the recipe, full recipe is gonna be in my holiday plan of attack. It's an ebook, not a physical book yet. I'm actually working on it as we speak to make it a physical book filled with all my family holiday recipes, prep guide. It's a literal guide to the holidays. And as a self-published author for 7 years, pretty proud of it. So if you want any of my recipes, they will work. Grab the link down to my holiday plan of attack down in the description. That's all that I have today. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care of yourself. Go feed yourself.